Welcome to another exciting episode of the Sports World with Patrik. Today we have two outstanding athletes from the University of Cincinnati's club hockey team, a program known for its fierce competition and strong leadership and passionate players. First up, we have Nathan Sunderhaus, the team's captain. Nathan has been a driving force for the UC hockey program, leading his teammates with dedication and resilience on and off the ice. His leadership has helped shape the team's culture and success, and we're excited to hear his insights into being a captain and the challenges that come with it. Joining him is Alex Perez, the alternate captain, who brings his own unique style of leadership and skill to the ice. Alex's commitment to the team and his abilities to balance being an athlete and a student make him a standout player and a key part of UC's hockey growth and success. Both of these players have not only excelled in their roles, but also played a vital part in putting UC hockey on the map. Today, we'll dive into their hockey journeys, leadership experience, and how they're helping build something special with the UC hockey team. Alex and Nathan, thank you for coming to the podcast. It's great to have you guys both here. So let's first of all start off with the individual journeys. How did you guys both get involved in, with hockey, and what really drew you to the sport?
Yeah, I guess I'll go first. Thank you, Patrick, for having us. It was awesome to see you like reach out. Not only want to talk to UC hockey in general, but just to talk to us. I think we're me and Nathan are both pretty excited about that. Uh, but yeah, it was. I never had any family members that played hockey. I was like probably 8, 9 years old, and it was just kind of surfing through channels and I put it on and I was like, this is the coolest thing in the world. And I begged my mom, to play. And she's like, it's, we'll maybe see when the winter time comes around. And about a year or two later, I started skating. I didn't start skating until I was like 10 years old and, skated for like 5, 6 months and then finally got the okay to go full hockey mode. And I've been playing it ever since. I've loved it. I grew up in Cincinnati. I'm from here. So I've loved playing, in this city. I've grown up playing here all my life. It's just it's been a blast, and I don't think I would change the world for it.
Yeah, I mean, once again, thanks, Patrick, for having us. It's a great opportunity. Obviously, it's always great to bring attention to our program because we do a lot for it. But yeah, I mean, I was 5 years old, and I mean, my family never knew about hockey. It was a big soccer family, but so yeah, I went to my first Cyclones game, fell in love with the game from the start. Yeah, and I just worked my way up from learn to play to you know mites and squirts. Now they call it 10U and 12U, which is the weirdest thing ever. But yeah, so I mean, I played 1 year at Indiana Tech, and now I'm back home. And like AP said, like it's great being home and being able to represent the city where it all started. So yeah.
And then, do you guys have any memorable moments in hockey, from watching it or even playing the sport now that you guys have been playing it for a while?
I think my most memorable moment was probably going to nationals my sophomore year, or me and Max Williams, like another kid that plays on the team. I broke the record with him for most points scored in Kentucky high school hockey. So that was a really cool moment. But yeah.
Yeah, that is pretty cool. I think it's funny. Most people don't know, but me and Sunday we actually played against each other growing up in high school. So we kind of had that rivalry. I obviously knew him a little bit more than he knew me just because he, broke the Kentucky high school hockey points record. But, now we're, on the same team and, it led to great things. But I mean, there's so many memories that, stick out with me when it comes to hockey. I remember scoring my first goal in my first ever game that I played. It was the worst shot ever. I just somehow went in on the ice at the end of the game and, I tried to celebrate and fell. So I think that was pretty memorable. I think that was probably the most memorable for my mom, definitely. I was a huge Kings fan growing up. I just loved Anze Kopitar. I thought his name was just cool, so I just started to follow him. And watching them, like as I started to get into hockey, I watched him, win 2 Stanley Cups within 3 years. So many memories, but definitely those two stand out the most. And just kind of playing against Nathan growing up, I think it wasn't memorable in the moment, but now that like we're together, it's kind of funny to look back on.
And then, so I'm gonna have two separate questions for you guys, both Nathan and Alex here. You know, Nathan, obviously you're the team captain at UC at the moment. So would you describe your leadership style, and what are some key qualities you sort of try to install on your teammates?
I mean, I am a big believer in like leading by example. So, I mean, I don't try to be the big aggressive leader where I'm yelling at guys. I mean, if I have to get on them, of course, like it needs to be done, but that's just not like I'm not going to be the one to be screaming at everybody. But I think a big culture we're just making at UC as a whole is just like every day we're on the ice, we're trying to get better and just pushing each other. So, I mean, practice gets intense sometimes and they're all your buddies. You might have a practice where me and AP get into it a little bit sometimes, but it's all about making each other better and pushing each other to where we want to be because I mean, at the end of the day, we still got a long long road ahead of us. Hopefully, we'll have a really deep run in playoffs and make a statement going into Acha 1 next year.
And then for you, Alex, how do you feel like how do you feel that your role differs from Nathan's as a player? And then what unique contributions do you bring to the team?
Yeah, I think Nathan, he like he said, he leads by example. I think everyone sees that, and he's a guy who goes out there, he'll work his bag off, and he's always willing to put 100% in, no matter what day it is, what time it is, and I think guys appreciate that, and I especially appreciate that. He's not, he doesn't say much, he only says things when stuff we need to, and I feel like I'm the guy that is always saying something, is always loud, is always, trying to bring energy to the bench, trying to get guys up, whether they're down, sometimes, guys might get tired of me and, kind of tell me to screw off. But, I think that works well for us is because, kind of balance those two. Also, behind the scenes, like, since we are a club, we're student ran and yeah, I'm the president of the club. So there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff that, I have to take care of, like scheduling trips, budgeting, making sure we've got the right itinerary, sent out, making sure our apparel's in check. It's a lot more things than people think of. And, it's a hard job, but it's fun. I'm glad I got the opportunity to be able to do that. And, I don't want to just play hockey, but, me and Nathan have both said it ever since we came here. We want to make this, place better than what we found it in. We entered coming in, going ACHA Division 2, and next year we're going ACHA Division 1. So I think that's a huge leap that me and Nathan were both excited for, and the whole team as well. And like I said, I think we just bring, two different sets of, personalities and styles, but they work well together, and, every guy can find, who they want to talk to on the team.
And then how would you guys, because obviously as both as captains, you guys get to see sort of how the team dynamics are, but how would you both describe the team dynamics at UC, and then what sort of sets the UC club hockey team a little bit apart from the other bigger programs?
Yeah, I think it's fun. Like I personally just think it's fun, coming here. It's a big school, if you're into sports, that's definitely something you want to look at. I think it's cool because Cincinnati just kind of has like a hometown feel. I mean, both me and Nathan are from the area, so we kind of know what Cincinnati hockey is like, and we want to be gritty. We definitely want to have like fun, but I think our most important goal is to win and to work hard at it, and that's definitely the attitude that our coach Chris Crane has established. And I think it's gone really well this year. And I'm excited to see what happens next year. But at least for me, I think it's fun, it's hard work when you stick together at the end of the day.
Yeah, I think just to build off of him, the one thing that really speaks volume to me is we have an alumni game and all the parents come out of the alumni. There's 30 people on the alumni bench. Like the alumni is a huge supporter. And when you play here, you don't just play here and that's it. Like guys care about this organization and what happens to it when they leave. Like, I mean, you see it last year, our captain, George Zimmer, he's now a coach. And I mean, like, he's putting his all into this program. But yeah, I think, like I said, like just the alumni being so supportive and everything, it kind of shows what we're building around here. I mean, the brotherhood atmosphere, and we still have guys that I play roller hockey Sundays and I play with a bunch of the alumni there too. So, and they're always checking up on us, making sure we're doing good. And if we need anything, we know we can go to them. But yeah, I think the biggest thing is just the connection in the room is really good this year. Obviously, like no bad energy. And yeah, we've got a big brotherhood going on. So
And then, I do know with being a student ran organization, it can sort of be challenging because you do have people who do want to join the program, but, they might not be able to pay their dues, or, they might not necessarily be, you know, just in that point, let's say they've played, the 10U, in that part, and they haven't played since then. It's very hard to get back into hockey once you quit hockey. You know, so what are some of the challenges that you guys have, sort of faced, and including with, NCAA football and basketball, how popular that is around the Cincinnati area, and how have you guys managed to overcome that?
So big thing with us that I really like is, I mean, like you said, it's pay to play. But we do have like installed monthly payments, so you're not paying like all up front. Obviously, like that would be pretty brutal, especially with some guys are like they're not fortunate enough where they can take out a loan or their parents can pay for their school, so they're paying for school as well. The one funny thing is we always know when our football team is not eligible for a bowl game or out of the playoffs because we get a whole lot more fans once they kind of uh, hit the can. But yeah, I mean, like you said, it's a big school, which I didn't think I would like as much as I do. Like, I'm very personable and I love getting to know my teachers. Like, I don't want to sit in a classroom where there's 300 kids and the teacher doesn't even know my name. Thankfully, I think like my biggest class was maybe 50 people, and I probably averaged like a normal high school class, like 25, 30. Um, so that's nice. And I mean, the big campus atmosphere just allows us for like, everybody's season does come to an end at some point. And so we're able to go do things in downtown Cincinnati. We're able to go to a Reds game, a Bengals game. We're able to go watch a great basketball team, an okay football team, but yeah, yeah. So
Yeah, I mean, I think, the biggest challenges are obviously, other sports, pulling from us. And I think honestly, I think the biggest challenge for us just solely as a hockey team is just not having a rink on campus. I mean, some guys don't want to drive 20 minutes away, just to go practice, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night. But, it's the type of guys that, they're here because they want to be here and they want to play. So, obviously, as much as of a challenge it may seem to other guys, to us it's not. It's a normal day, normal week, going to the rink at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night to get ready for practice. You're not even off the ice till 11:30, 11:45. So, there's always ways to overlook those challenges. I think we've done a great job of, having our social media be present in the last 2 years. I mean, our PR, public relations personnel, Emily Christie. I mean, it's kind of a one woman show. She's the reason our whole TikTok and our whole Instagram following has been so good. She takes great pictures. And I think that brings a lot of people in to Cincinnati from out of Cincinnati. I mean, they usually just used to recruit from, from the local area, from Cleveland. You get an occasional guys from outside, the Ohio, Indiana, Kentucky area. But now we're starting to see guys come from Florida and come from Connecticut. So I think that's really helped and really grown. That's grown our audience. So, not just, hockey players themselves, but just fans and, people want to come see us and, have fun and watch college hockey and, kind of have Cincinnati. When they think of Cincinnati, they don't think of just the football and basketball team, but to think of hockey as well.
And then I know club hockey doesn't nearly get as much attention, right? And Alex, you were just talking about how your PR has sort of helped grow the program itself. But what are some of the biggest advantages you guys have playing as a club team?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. Like I said, that public relations, our social media, that is one of our biggest advantages. Like I said, I give credit to Emily Christie. I mean, she's, she said it herself in her interview. She basically forced her way onto the team, but we couldn't be any happier that she's here because, without her hard work and her dedication, to wanting to not only just grow herself, but she grows the team as well. And I think that's the kind of thing that, guys that come here and they don't only want to just grow themselves, but they want to grow the team. I mean, like I said earlier, me and Sunday, we came here because we want to leave something better than when we found it. Our head coach, Chris Krantz, is first year coaching, but he wants to coach, but he also wants to make sure that he's coaching a great group of guys. And he believes that too. Also, our assistant coach, Nick Okada, he also believes that. And I think that's what's really well is it just feels like everybody who's here like wants to win. Like they just want to get better and, leave this place better than they found it.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like AP said, we can't talk about Emily enough. Obviously, like we have a kid from Florida, and he found our team just purely based off our social media. So it's crazy what it can do nowadays. So that's a huge part of recruiting. And when guys see like, I mean, it's like getting posted on Hockey House Pod. When you have a picture on the UC page and you see it get, 300 likes, like it feels good to know that people are interested in what we're doing and our mission. But yeah, I mean, it says a lot with our whole team. Before the season, we actually did conditioning at Nipper, and everybody was there at 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. And even our photographer was there to take pictures. So everybody's kind of bought in, and yeah, I mean, it's a great place to be. Like literally, the only downside I can say is like AP said, it's just the rink not being on campus. But once you get used to that and kind of get to know everybody and see what group we have here, not that big of a deal.
So I do know you guys are. I believe Nathan, you just transferred from Indiana Tech, correct? Or is this your second year at UC?
This is my second year. Yeah, I've
Second
had
year.
1 year at UC before this.
And Alex, this is your third year, correct?
Yep, that is correct.
And so, obviously you guys have seen the growth and the success of these teams that you guys have been on for the last few years. Is there like a specific game or even a season moment that sort of define how your team's growth and success has been?
I think the biggest game that has shown what we are pushing for and what we have become is the OU game at the beginning of the year. OU, I think, only has 3 losses still, and we handed them one of their losses like third weekend in. So, I mean, we played University of Wisconsin Eau Claire and kind of handled that business. And then we played a really tough Miami team and unfortunately got swept. So that was a big bounce back game. And I mean, yeah, I think that shows what all the hard work we've been doing and did at the beginning of the season, kind of what that is all for. So
Yeah, I mean, I'd have to agree with Nathan. I think that OU game, we were down at one point, and we made a comeback and won it within the final 6-7 minutes. We obviously haven't had the same game exactly since then, but I think it kind of showed like what we can do and what we're resilient of. I mean, we went into Kentucky. They have a Midnight Madness game. It's a real tough place to play. I mean, there's 1,000 to 1,500 fans screaming, at midnight. It doesn't even feel like a midnight game once you get there. And who would have thought playing hockey at midnight was even possible? But the fact that we didn't win that game, but we didn't go down without a fight. I mean, I remember Sunday got hurt in the second period, right after he scored. Another one of our guys, got tossed just because the energy was there. I mean, we didn't go down without a fight. We easily could have. We easily could have packed it in, and I think that was our problem last year. Is we would go down, a goal or two, and we'd pack it in for the rest of the game. Even though there's 30 minutes left, it felt like we were down and out, but I think this year we've done a great job at integrating into our heads that, we can come back from this and, we're going to do whatever it takes to, get to the end. We're going to fight to the end. We may not always come out with a W, but, at the end of the day, you can say like, they made it a game and, that, we're a team that I think everybody should be scared of, come playoff time.
And then, so I do have this question also. You guys, we keep mentioning this, how you guys are a student-run organization. You guys don't get nearly the same privileges as the NCAA athletes do. So how do you guys sort of balance the academics and hockey, and what does a typical day of, or a typical week in general of training and schoolwork look like for you guys?
Yeah, I mean it's kind of nice because me and Sunday Nathan we've had classes together the past 2 semesters, so we can kind of keep each other in check, which is kind of nice. Hold each other accountable, make sure everybody's doing their work. But usually we get like the start of the week off like a Monday, Wednesday, but we practice Tuesday, Thursday late at night. Sometimes we don't even get to the rink till 8:30, 9 o'clock. And it just kind of depends on, what the coach wants to go over, what activities we might have before practice. And we practice till 11:45, get a good hour and a half skate in. And then after that, usually we'll have games Friday, Saturday. It's usually home Friday and away Saturday. So, at least you know, don't get the bus legs on Friday. Sometimes it happens that way, but it's a good, 15, 20 hours outside of your week. And that's on the low end. I think, sometimes it's another 20, 25, depending on how far the traveling is. It'll definitely be a little bit longer with going D1 next year and having to travel to farther teams. But, just kind of, like I said, having a guy in your class that really helps, just holding each other accountable, finding time to do your homework. I mean, you get an itinerary at the beginning of each week, kind of helps you plan out your week, when you can do your assignments, and guys find time to work and work out as well. So I think it's up to every individual to be able to find that schedule. But I think, the coaching staff and the players understand that everybody wants to work to get to the next level, and they have to manage their time well to be able to, want to play here in the first place.
Yeah, and I mean, I think a big thing that I actually loved to see, we last year, we obviously didn't have the greatest year, and I could tell you probably half the team took their gear home. This year, obviously, me and AP, like me, AP, and Max, we're from here, so we'll go to stick time, and we have to go to the rink to get our gear because the stick time's held at a different rink, and everybody took their gear home this year. So it kind of just shows that everybody is actually enjoying playing. Obviously, we don't have the ability to offer people money to play. We don't get NIL money, so it's all about making this fun and enjoyable for everybody. Like, we are here to win and everything and go as far as we can, and that's everybody's goal. So, but yeah, that definitely helps when everybody's enjoying it and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely a struggle to get those guys to come over an NCAA school, but for the, USPHL, like premier guys and even NCDC kids, if they're looking at a low tier NCAA D3 school where they're going to have to wake up at 6 a.m. to practice, and then they go to a smaller university, so you don't know what majors are going to be offered and what your job or career is going to look like after that. I think, when I get my degree and it says University of Cincinnati on that, it opens a lot of doors. Like, we have a great internship program. A lot of guys do co-ops. I mean, the engineering program here is like unbelievable. So I think that's a big pull, obviously, schooling wise and everything. Yeah. And obviously going with Acha one, we're looking to go and not just be a bottom of the barrel team right away. We're looking to make an impact pretty quick. So hopefully we'll, like I said, make a deep run and go right into being a top 20 team in Acha one. That's the goal. So,
And then obviously for you guys, it's sort of hard because you guys do have very limited amount of ice time. Having your practices on Tuesday and Thursday. So how do you guys sort of, in terms of individual skill developments, how do you guys sort of handle that with the limited ice time that you guys get? And then how do you sort of push yourselves as athletes?
I think, I mean, like I said, like just making sure that we're doing the most every time that we're on the ice, really making sure that we're pushing each other. Like, I mean, it's not fun to get slashed, but when you're playing other teams, if you're going to get a slash on the wrist and it's not going to feel good and it might not get called. So I'm a very big believer in that. And AP will tell you about how I make a few guys unhappy, but it's
Yeah, he says that because he does the slashing. That's why.
So yeah, the biggest thing is our coach, Coach Crane, has been unbelievable this year. We'll watch game film, and he'll have us like 5 things for that week where we really need to focus on, and you can see because you can see in the results. Like, we'll get swept one weekend, and then we'll come back with a 4-game win streak. So yeah, I mean, I think he's been an unbelievable part of our success this year. But yeah, and I mean, if you need to like fine tune things, we always have like 10 minutes before practice really gets going, because we'll sometimes get on the ice early where you can work on your little own things, like whether it's just, you haven't been able to hit the net recently and you're just kind of trying to get it going. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, with the limited ice time, obviously, if you ever play hockey in Cincinnati, that's the whole big story is no ice time. I know a couple of guys to further their individual skills, they go to stick time, almost every morning. It seems like it's at least once or twice a week for sure. And that's how guys, they improve that. I mean, for some guys, it's hitting the gym, they just want to become stronger, and others it's working on their individual skill. I think, for me personally, it's, trying to find time off the ice, to stick handle, whether that means, I do it for 10 minutes in my garage at home, or I come early to the rink and I go out, on the roller rink that we have right outside our locker room and just, either pass or stick handle or shoot. I know some guys do that before games and just kind of warms up their hands. I think too the biggest thing is to not waste the ice time. The coaches both know that. I mean, even if you're standing in line for a drill, I know sometimes I'll work on, stick handling, just even if it's for like 20 seconds, while I'm standing there, because I'm at least doing something and keeping engaged in the game and in the practice. So, it's all about finding, even in the seconds to further individual skill. And I know that's something that I do.
And then, you guys obviously have some pretty big games and tournaments that you guys go to. So how do you guys sort of prepare the team for those tournaments and big games? And then, what's the team's mentality when you're approaching these key key matchups? And sort of how do you get the team? Because I know mental toughness is really hard in hockey in general. So how does that also play a huge role into these matchups?
Yeah, I mean, this weekend we're going to Colorado for the Big Mountain Showcase. It's something, most of us have never done it before, played, one in Colorado, but played at elevation, which is definitely going to play a factor. And, it's going to be something new for, 95% of us. I think just going in there, I think, the best thing, yeah, at least for me personally, I like not knowing much about other teams just because I can go in there and, you don't know what to expect. So you go out there and play your best hockey that you can. I know other guys like to do film and stuff, especially on your rivals. When you don't know much about the team, you just have to go out there and you have to play your best. And sometimes I think it's better that way because you don't necessarily have a weight on you. You don't have an expectation of what a game may look like. You stick to your systems and you stick to your plans. And then for the opposite, when it is your rival, because there's so much expectation, it's kind of fun. You want to go in there, when you're expected to lose, you upset them, just like we did OU and, like we could do to any other team. I think that's the most exciting part about hockey is too, you never know what's going to happen until you go out there and play. And, just the preparation, I mean, Crane tries to prepare us for every single game the same way, making sure everything looks sharp. We're focused. We're ready to go. No goofing off in practice. If we're goofing off, we're skating. We had to do a lot of skating on our first practice back for Colorado, which was understood. We might not like it in the moment, but it'll definitely pay off in the end. So just trying to, keep consistency is the big part in this preparation and making sure we just go out there and have everything fine-tuned.
Yeah, and I think a big thing is people don't realize it, but your message changed as the year goes on. Like, obviously, when we were playing Miami and OU at the beginning of the year, the message is like, this is a statement game. And we made our statement with OU. And now it's just like, we have 10 games left, second semester, and then we go to T-show playoffs and then regionals and then hopefully nationals. So it kind of changes to like, I mean, we control our own destiny at this point. We're 11-7-2. Have a great record. We're 13th in the region right now. We're in a great place, but now it's just we got to finish. So, and I mean, that's all starts with Colorado. So, I mean, guys have been looking forward to this road trip all year, but now it's here and we got to take care of business. So, but yeah, and I mean, everybody's been motivated. First practice back, you can see it's a little bit rusty and, you miss some passes, but then you get it going and then you get the flow of things. But I mean, we practiced Saturday and Sunday this week, and Sunday looked like we were ready, like we we're a mid-season team. So, yeah.
And then obviously you guys have sort of gotten to see the culture of hockey at UC, and I know you guys said, Nathan, you said that when the football team hasn't made a bowl game or the playoffs, you see more fans there. So sort of how has that evolved over, or how has the culture of the team evolved since you joined, and how has, or what impact has all these situations where let's say the football team doesn't make a bowl game, sort of helped you guys gain those fans, and how much does the athletic community in general at the university help?
So here's the thing about Cincinnati sports fans. They're diehards, but most of the teams are not good. Like the Bengals barely missing the playoffs. That was like a normal thing back a few years ago. So, I mean, I think we just get people intrigued when, like I said, the football team does kind of kick the can, we can like fans come out and they watch us go and play OU or Louisville or UK where it's a super physical game and they love it. And then plus, I mean, like I said, this year we've had a great year, so that obviously keeps people coming to the games. And when people are winning, they keep coming. So, I mean, yeah, and it's been crazy. I mean, obviously, UC has a rich history. I mean, I remember when, unfortunately, the whole Humboldt thing going on, but I remember when they played Xavier as like a fundraiser game, and the rink was like absolutely packed. So, I mean, it's not been like a new thing. UC hockey's been around and great since. But like AP said, and we continue to say, like, it feels great to know that we're going to leave it in a better place because we are making this jump to Archer 1 next year, and that'll last forever, and we'll get to say we were the first group to do it.
Yeah, I mean, it is exciting. Hopefully we get more fans. It's tough. You always have to kind of have to pull and grind to even get fans to your game. But like Nathan said, once you start winning, they start coming. You always have the Cyclones. I'm sure that once they start once they build they're supposed to build a new rink where we play now. I'm sure that once that gets built, there'll be a little bit more because it'll feel kind of more like an arena environment, which would be kind of cool. And Sunday said Cincinnati fans, they're diehards. So UC, especially anybody who goes to UC. I mean, I don't. They usually cheer for their sports teams, or Cincinnati just in general. So you know, I think just because hockey isn't as big in Cincinnati as the other sports. It's maybe why we don't get as many, but that's not to say that the people who do pay attention to hockey still, even if they're not there in person, they're watching the streams or they're there in spirit too. So yeah.
And then for you guys, obviously, the UC hockey program is sort of unique. It's a little bit further south. I mean, there are teams in the south that also have club teams, but it's sort of on that southern end of the Midwest. And so, what sort of makes the program unique compared to the other Midwest programs? And then how do you sort of maintain a high level of competitiveness?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is that we're in a big city. There's a lot of opportunity. There's a lot of sports here. You have FCC, the Reds, the Bengals, the Cyclones. The only thing we're really missing is a basketball team, but we have. I mean, you got UC and Xavier basketball. They may not be professional, but it's college. It's pretty darn close. Especially with the NIL money, being able to pay those players. But I think that's the biggest thing. I mean, you look at schools like OU or Miami or Dayton, Columbus. I mean, Columbus is in a big city, but there's really only the Blue Jackets, and they really only pay attention to Ohio State football. Not to dog on them, but Cincinnati just I think has a lot more opportunity. It's a great place to live. It's a great place to come start a new life. I mean, a lot of people settle in Cincinnati, and a lot of people are from Cincinnati. They move away and eventually come back just because they love the city so much. So and UC with it may be a huge school, but there's it feels like a community. I mean, me and Sunday, we have three of the same classes, and there's 50,000 plus kids in the school. What are the odds that happens? So it's just a real community feel with a big city aspect to it. I think that's the biggest thing that pulls people into the.
And I think another big thing, just with recruiting wise and everything, is obviously now our head coach getting drafted to the NHL. That helps a lot, just because I mean, kids still want to know that they have a head coach that actually knows what he's talking about. And another huge part of our success with recruiting is our locker room. Our locker room is humongous. We have a lounge area, a chalk talk area, so that's just where like we meet with the coaches and they talk about practice plans, and we meet before the game and they talk about who we're facing, and then we walk into the actual locker room, and then we have a dry stall area, so where you put like your undergear on, and then a shower and bathroom. So I mean, we have everything we need. We even have 2 dryers and washers in our locker room. So that's a huge part of our recruiting. Is not a lot of teams have the like niceness of having locker room. Like you have some teams that are even Acha 1 or most teams Acha 2 that have to take their gear back to their dorm or their apartment. So that definitely helps a lot. But yeah, like AP said, Cincinnati's a great city, so that helps.
How do you guys sort of see the future of club hockey evolving at UC? Is there even a chance that UC will become an NCAA or will add an NCAA program eventually? Um, and then what do you hope to see the team accomplish in the next few years as you guys get ready to graduate in a few years?
So I genuinely think that there is a good chance we do end up having an NCAA D1 team at this school and hopefully the near future with the Cyclones gaining traction and they just bought the rink that we actually play at. I mean, we have more attendance this year just because of youth games that are happening at the rink and tournaments. There's so many people coming in and out of that rink. So I think that's helped grow the hockey. And I mean, just talking to professors and everything, they even know we have a team now. But yeah, I think in the near future, obviously, we'll make a good playoff push this year. And me and AP will continue it on into Ocha 1. And then, time to unfortunately hang him up. But yeah, and I mean, the sky's the limit for this organization, especially like I said, like our coaching staff is just amazing from Crane to Okada. I mean, Okada put 100 assists up in 1 year in the ACHA for Cincinnati. So he knows how to play hockey and he knows what he's doing. So I think we have a great seasoned coaching group. And I mean, I would not be shocked if they win an ACHA national title and then look to make that jump soon.
Yeah, I mean the goal. I think it's funny. The goal was to go ACHA D1. Now that we're going, I think the goal is to go NCAA D1. We've always strived for the next big thing, and that's even the school's motto is "Next lives here." And I think that boils down to us too, as we've always tried to find something better. And I think in the future, like Sunday said, I think this could be a powerhouse. A place that guys want to come play hockey at. Have fun even if they don't necessarily stay all 4 years, but they have a great experience in the city. I mean, it's just there. I think there's so much opportunity here. I think too, with Canadian junior players, now they're able to go play NCAA when they weren't before. It's going to open a lot of opportunity for Division I programs to add hockey teams, because now they're going to have the funds for it. I know schools like Texas and Georgia, who are way down south, are pleading to have an NCAA Division I team, and if schools like that, are able to add it, I don't see why Cincinnati can't.
Yeah, I know. With this upcoming deal that the NCAA does have, they are gonna have like a roster limit. I believe is what they've announced. So with having that roster limit, I guess there's gonna be a lot of students who might make it down to the ASHA D1 level or even the D2 level, not being able to have a roster spot. But I do also have this question. First, I'm going to start off with you, Nathan. As a captain, what's the most important lesson you've learned about leadership, both on and off the ice?
The biggest lesson I've learned is probably not to like get so frustrated so early. Like you have to be persistent with some guys. I mean, like I said, we do have a great group, but some kids just they don't learn the first time, so we unfortunately have to tell them a few times. So just not getting like angry when they first don't listen and everything. But yeah, I mean, I think I've learned a lot over the years and just becoming like a seasoned leader. But
And then Alex, also, you're the alternate captain. So how has that role on the team sort of helped you grow both as a player and as a person?
Yeah, I mean, I think what was nice about it is that just being an alternate captain, it wasn't, like I tried. I don't want to make it sound like I didn't try, but, I was just myself and I just, tried to bring to the team what I thought they might need. And it wasn't anything that I was doing that I would do differently on any other team. I would just be myself, try to make sure, guys feel included, especially off the ice. We're always on the ice together as a team, but off the ice, that's where, you really get to connect and you really get to have fun with the guys. And, whenever the team's hanging out, I'm always trying to make sure, everybody hears about it or, everybody's at least invited, even if they can't make it. Just trying to make it really feel like a team, not a team that just plays hockey, but a team, on and off the ice. Crane has instilled that in us, is having, each other's backs no matter where you go, whether that be, on the ice, or whether that be, going to the grocery store and some dude tries to, run up on you. I mean, you always have each other's backs. So, I think that's the biggest thing I've learned too with, Nathan, him saying, not to get frustrated. I've definitely learned that. Everybody's different. You have to talk to some guys to a certain way to kind of get the reaction you want out of them. But, I think that helps you in the long run, whether, because you're always going to encounter different personalities no matter where you go. And I think that really helps for, when you graduate from Cincinnati and have to find a real job. So I really love that about that.
And then obviously, you guys have all played sort of when you guys were a little younger. And so I do have this question. Sort of, it's a two-sided question a little bit here. So what advice would you give to young players who are aspiring to play club hockey in college? And looking back at your time at UC, what's one piece of advice you would give your younger self when you first started playing hockey?
So for the advice for kids that want to play club hockey, I would just say, like, you have to love the game. You have to want it, and you have to make sure you're persistent. Like, when I was younger, I would just go downstairs and stick handle. Obviously, around here and in Kentucky, ice isn't really available. So, I mean, my parents bought me like shower boards. And you would put Pludge down on them so it would make it feel like ice. Because we didn't have money for synthetic ice back then. So I would just do that, and I mean, I would stick handle all the time. I'd put a little piece of tape down and pass a puck at it until like the white tape turned to black just from me peppering it. So yeah, I mean, just making sure you're staying persistent and really giving everything you have. And then if I had to give my advice to a younger self, come to UC a freshman year.
I could have told you that. I could have told you that from the beginning. It always happens. It always happens.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, that's honestly really the only thing I'd tell myself. And I would probably say, like, coming from juniors, you don't hear very good things about the ACHA, at least where I played for juniors, and I didn't think it was going to be that competitive. And it's competitive hockey, especially the division we're in. We have Miami, who played for a national championship last year, IU, who won the national championship. And last year we played Adrian's D1 team, who was the national champion of ACHA 1. So, and I mean, all our teams are loaded. So the division we play in, we got some big competition.
Yeah, I mean, before I answer your question, to Sunday's point, oh man, I'm drawing a blank on what I was gonna say. But yeah, just like it's always competitive in the sport. Like Sunday said, our division is just, it is crazy. Oh yeah, and back to his point on coming to UC freshman year. I mean, if you are from the Cincinnati area and hockey players, good hockey players, it happens to 90% of them. They go play in some NCAA D3 or ACHA Division I school that they think it works out, and they hate it, or it's a bad season. They come back to Cincinnati, and that's not a knock on Nathan at all. I mean, it's just sometimes guys just have to find out that Cincinnati is better than they thought, and it's kind of nice that you can have that pool. I'm sure we'll see it happen here in the next couple of years with another couple of other guys we're trying to get here. But I mean, advice that I would have for a younger kid, kind of like Sunday said, is just staying persistent. Having hard work. I think, it's never too late either. I mean, most of the guys on this team, they started playing when they were 5, 6 years old. And I didn't start till I was 11. And if you told me that, I was going to be playing hockey at University of Cincinnati in 10 years, I would have been like, UC has a hockey team? That would have been my response, and I would have been like, I doubt it. But, just because of the path that I stayed on and the path that I took, going to juniors and working hard to get on this team, it was, it led me to where I am now. And, you got to stay persistent, and even if you're not from Cincinnati, I think, just wanting to play club, you have to understand, it's not all the glory, but I think that's what kind of makes it fun is you don't always get pampered with free apparel or free merchandise, but you do it because you love it, and I think that's what brings a lot of ACHA teams together. I think as far as having advice on as a younger kid, or freshman me coming into UC, is play carefree. I think there was a lot of times where, especially my freshman year, and even still, even at times this year, where I feel like I'm afraid to make a mistake, but in the end, it kind of deters me. So I think just going out there and playing, you're here to have fun. Obviously, sometimes you're not going to play every game because you're on the bottom of the lineup and you have to fight and claw your way for it. But, at the same time, you kind of knew what you were getting into. Hockey's always been a competitive sport. It always will be a competitive sport no matter where you go. So just having fun and playing carefree, I think, is probably the biggest thing I would tell myself coming into here if I could.
And then for both of you guys, what's sort of your personal goals? And I know the team goal right now is, for the rest of the season at least, is to make it to nationals and win the national championship. But what do you hope to accomplish both individually and as a team? And then beyond when you go to UC, or when you graduate UC, do you see yourself continuing in hockey? As either a coach, player, some other role in the sport?
Yeah, I'll go first. I think, just personally, just, wanting to play every game. I even said it to Sunday today. My goal by the end of my 4-year career is to have 100 ACHA games under my belt. I mean, it might happen, it might not. Things keep going the way they are. I'll easily get there. But, if I let other factors come into play, I might not. But I think that's just the biggest goal for me. It's just, have fun, go out there and play. And even after I graduate, I do see myself, staying around hockey. I'd love to coach. I don't know exactly what age group. I've done, coaching for a week at Miami University. I was a coach for their summer camp, and I had a blast doing that. I coached all different age groups. Even for a week, it was still a lot of fun. I think you learn a lot about yourself too, and how you have to go about coaching. And I think that's what's nice about being a captain, is you kind of get a little bit of a taste of it, because you're not necessarily coaching, but you can definitely have like a mentorship to like a freshman or a sophomore and underclassmen, and that kind of helps. So I've always wanted to be a sports broadcaster too, so I would love to be the next Doc Emmerich, calling hockey games, being the number one guy. So hopefully that happens for me, but I'll definitely continue to stick with hockey for as long as I can.
Yeah, I mean, I would, like AP said, like being a captain just gives you a perspective of being a coach in some ways. Like, it's part of our coaching staff couldn't be at the Sunday practice or Saturday practice, and so we were out on the ice for 10 minutes by ourselves, and we started our drills. Like, we're not goofing around; we're making sure guys are on top of it. It kind of does give you the perspective of being a coach. So, I mean, I'd love to go into coaching, but I'd also love to, hopefully not hang them up after my college career. Like, I'd love to go play in Europe, but I mean, yeah, if this is it, I got to make the most of it. So that's just kind of what I keep my mindset at. So, I mean, at this point in the year, points don't matter, goals don't matter, assists don't matter, wins matter. So it's all about just putting more W's on or more wins in the column, and keep stacking them up until, like you said, we get to that end goal and go to the nationals and go win a natty. So.
And then for you guys, so here's some really fun questions. Who is the funniest teammate on the team, and what's the best prank or moment that happened in the locker room?
God, there's so many. There's so many guys. I mean, I personally love Brendan Booth. I mean, that he's just, anything he says is just somehow a joke that comes out of his mouth. Even in the most serious moments, he could, make our coaches laugh. I think he's just funny. As far as prank goes, though, I mean, I can't think of like any off the top of my head. Any you can think of, Sunday?
I can't think of any pranks, but I mean, yeah, I would have to agree with Booth. Like, he even gets like our coach is rolling sometimes. Like, he'll just say like something out of the blue, and it will be like he'll wear like a peanut shirt just for no reason that day, and we'll all just cracking up about it. But yeah, I mean, I don't really know of any pranks though.
Yeah, I can't think of any like good pranks, and if I do, they're probably not PG to say the least. But I mean, yeah, I mean, we've got like we have so many good characters on this team, though. I mean, Booth's just one of them. I mean, Bepko, Kempa, Bowser, they're all funny in their own way, and it's just like I said, there's just so many guys you could choose from, but I think Booth, just because he can make the coaches laugh. And man, he's a character. He's a character. He's a character. He's a character.
And then, so I do have this question for you guys. If you could have dinner with any hockey player, past or present, who would it be and why?
So this is gonna be a really weird one. Everybody would go with obviously like probably the big one, Wayne Gretzky. But when I started playing hockey here, the Cyclones had a guy named David Desharnais, and he actually helped them on the road to win the Kelly Cup that year. And then he ended up making his way up to the AHL, and then he actually went and played for Montreal. So we went and watched Montreal play the Blue Jackets. So I got to watch him play an NHL game. So I definitely have to say him. Yeah, I mean, I was 51 for many years, unfortunately. UC, it's 1 through 30. So, I mean, but I started hockey being number 8, so that's what I'm going to finish it with. But yeah.
Yeah, and dude, David Desharnais, that's a player you only know if you follow hockey.
Yeah, literally.
It's like gritty guys, you only know it. My answer would probably David Pastrnak, just because he's funny. That's the only reason I'd have. He just seems like a fun, chill guy. Like, afterwards you could go hang out. A different place. That's it's not for dinner. But no, I think David Pastrnak just because he's funny. Just because he seems so cool. I mean, there's definitely so many other options, but I'm trying to have a good time, so probably him.
And what's the best, or what is really, in all honesty, do you have any, or I'm sorry, what is like sort of your pregame ritual or even superstitions that you do have, and how does that help get you mentally prepared for a game?
I think it's funny. My pregame ritual kind of changed. I know my freshman and sophomore year, first half of sophomore year especially, I loved getting dressed at the exact right time, like 30 minutes before. I put my tops on 10 minutes before, put my helmet on 4 minutes before. It was kind of like a set in stone thing. But now it's weird. Now that I'm president, I kind of have to even before games, I kind of have to make sure stuff is ready before we're even out on the ice. Got to set up the equipment for the streaming and the music box. And now I kind of like to be rushed. I kind of like the adrenaline going through me. I'm like, oh my God, stressing out. Got to get ready now. I still kind of get dressed the same, but now it's like 15 minutes. I'm like, oh, I'm stressing out. I got to get everything on. So I think it's funny how it kind of changes, but I think it makes me play better now. So that's kind of my pregame ritual is just make sure everything's in check, sound wise, video wise, and then go play.
Yeah, I think I'm not a very big superstitious guy. As I say that, I'm going to say this. I do left everything on first on game days. Down to like my undersocks. But I mean, some things you don't think about it as superstitions, but it definitely still kind of plays in that category. Like, I mean, I do the same thing. When I get to the rink for games, I take off my suit, get into my warm-ups, and then I go retape my sticks the first thing I do. And that's like every game. So, I mean, you just do little things you don't really notice. I'm sure I have a few more that are probably pretty weird. But yeah, I mean, I don't really think of it, but just kind of happens. That's the only thing. The left thing, that's a must. I make sure that happens.
I totally agree. I'm the same way. I don't know why it's left either. It just chose left. I was like, this feels right.
And then, we sort of talked about the legacy you guys hope to leave behind, to leave the UC hockey program in a much better position than what you guys have when you guys entered into the program. And so beyond that, is there anything you really hope for your legacy to be at UC? And then is there anything, exciting or even your experiences at UC that you'd like to share?
I mean, I think just obviously this is, like I said, we have a very rich history. Cotta being a captain and putting up 99 points or 99 assists in 1 year. And then George Zimmer, who was like the leading scorer for like 2 or 3 years straight. So obviously as a captain, big shoes to be filled, but I just hope that when it's all said and done, even the coaches can look back and know that they made a good choice of me being captain, and hopefully I can do the same and lead the team in points. I think I'm like 1 or 2 behind our leading goal scorer, Jordan. So gonna try to catch up to him this weekend. But yeah, I mean, and just really watching this program continue to grow even when we're out of it. It does stink that we only have one more year after this, but yeah, I mean, like I said, the sky's the limit. I want to see this get as big as possible. And like AP said, it's kind of weird, we find out we're going ACHA D1 and now we're already talking like, okay, let's take another step. So obviously it's going to take some time before that happens, but we're already thinking ahead and trying to get this into a much bigger, better thing where it's a world-class program.
Yeah, I think, the legacy, you want to leave behind is leaving it better than you found it. I think for me personally, it's just, being a guy that people remember as like, he wanted to better the team, and didn't want to, only do things for himself. I mean, I've told, coaches like, hey, like if you don't think I'm playing well, just, take me out of the lineup and put, the best guys you think in, don't always have me in just because I'm an alternate captain, if there's 12 guys playing better than me, I think, they deserve to be in the lineup and they deserve to give, the team the best chance to win, and that's something that I want to be is I want to be selfless. I want this team to succeed, even if that means, I don't succeed as much, it might, suck in the moment, but, it's better for the greater good. So I think that's type of legacy. And kind of touch on Sunday's point, in a different direction. Okada and George Zimmer, they were both big parts of the team, while they were here as players, and now they're big parts of the team as coaches. There's Deepak Kular, he's our hockey operations guy. I mean, he does so much stuff behind the scenes that people would never know who he is if they didn't play hockey, if they weren't in this vicinity of UC hockey. He does so much to help grow this program and make sure, we get nice apparel, I mean, he gets us some Lululemon stuff, which, every hockey player loves. So I think too, even if I'm not necessarily in school at UC, I think, hopefully there's a part of me that still wants to help out in any way, shape, or form that I can, to grow for the players coming in. So that's definitely the type of legacy I'd want to leave behind.
Alex and Nathan, thank you both for joining us on the Sports World of Patrik episode. It's been an absolute pleasure hearing about your guys' journey, the leadership you guys bring to the University of Cincinnati, Cincinnati's club team, or club hockey team, and your insights into how you balance your academics and the demands of being a student athlete. I think our listeners will really appreciate that, the dedication and passion you both have to the ice, and it's clear the future of UC hockey is in great hands with leaders and like you two, and I sort of wish the best of luck for you guys for the rest of the season and beyond.
Yeah, thank you, Patrick. We appreciate you having us on.
Yeah, thank you.